Okay, so the question is it ego to want this or that? And here's the answer. it, it's normal and natural in the world to want certain things. I'd like to use the word prefer. Um, Everybody prefers certain things. Some things are just simple, harmless things, which is based on our personality. For example, I might prefer a certain color. I choose a green jumper instead of a blue jumper, and that's not the ego. Uh, or I might prefer to walk in the park instead of in the city centre. Or I might prefer to meet, let's say, meet one friend instead of another friend on a particular day. Also, depending on how we're vibrating and what energies we're attracting in our lives, and what thoughts and emotions we're feeling and thinking, etc. We'll obviously prefer, let's say, different type of friends than we may have 10 years ago. Like, for example, Eckhart Tolle, he's going out with a going out. His partner is like a woman who's, some people may call like very spiritual, or like something close to enlightened, or enlightened in various ways. For example, Eckhart isn't choosing to be with a partner who's in ego consciousness, and that's just what he prefers and what works with him, and that's none of that's got to do with the ego. Or wanting a car necessarily isn't ego. It really, I suppose, depends on why you want a car, or why you want certain things, whether or not that's the ego or not. Hmm. So anyway, if we want things because we feel inadequate or insufficient, and we're trying to make ourselves feel fulfilled or adequate, or to feel at peace, then that's chasing something, that would be the ego. Uh, if we want something to make ourselves appear bigger or better than the way we think we already are, or in the eyes of other people, then that would also be the ego. If we're chasing, or we want something because we're afraid or it's out of fear, that's also the ego. Um, for example, if we want a particular job, and the reason we want this job is because we're afraid of being unemployed, or having a job, a different job that seems like an inferior job than the job we were trying to get, that would also be from an ego state. We're trying to impress others or look good in the eyes of others, or in the eyes of ourselves, trying to be bigger than the way we previously thought or felt. All that's ego. But simple, general, harmless, daily things. We want this or we want that. I want a melon. I'm just looking at my melon over there. Or I want this mobile phone instead of this other mobile phone. That's just ask why you want certain things, and and ask, see how you're feeling when you want things, and that's a pretty decent indication. But generally, there's many harmless things which has nothing to do with the ego, and it's okay to want. It's okay to desire these things. The Buddha talked a lot about desire, but that was a particular type. That was a different type of desire, actually. It was the feeling of insufficiency and lack, and the chasing and longing and craving for something. I want, I need, I must have. This feeling of insufficiency. That's a different thing altogether. And that's based on the idea and the feeling, more so, that what you have now isn't enough, and you need something else in the future that will make you feel that you have enough, and then you can finally feel like happy and content and at peace. Usually people are in a state of constant desire and longing and chasing, and they don't have a feeling of inner peace where they can just settle into the moment, relax, enjoy themselves and be happy. There's a tension, a stress and a strain. They need something. I have to get this. I need to go there. I need this. I need that. I have to get rid of this. And it's all based on the future. Now isn't enough, and somehow the future somewhere will be enough. Even if it's in 5 minutes from now, or 2 minutes, or a year, or 5 years, or a month, or a week. The ego in you has a dysfunctional mechanism, a way of working where you just feel uneasy and unhappy and discontented, dissatisfied with now. Let's say a little daily example. You're going shopping and you want to buy some food for making lunch. It could be anything. So quickly we often get into a rush. It's pretty funny. People are always rushing. It's a kind of an obvious sign when people are tense or they look unhappy or in a rush. They're not really in the moment. They're trying to get something because they feel deep down that they don't have enough to be happy and content. Okay, so you want to go shopping for lunch. You're in your house, and so you start getting your car keys or your bag or your wallet, etc. Now you're already in the mode where you have a future point that you want. You want to get to the car, or maybe you want to get to the shop. If you're walking, you just want to get to the shop. If you have a car, you want to get to the car first, and then you want to get to the shop. Then you get to the shop, you want to get to all the counters with the ingredients, and then you want to get back to the car again quickly, or you want to get back to the house. So all of this, it's all like a means to an end. You kind of have the future point fixed in your mind, and you're waiting to get there until you can finally just let your hair down, relax, and then finally be happy, and now I can finally start making the food, and I can just relax now at home again, and I can enjoy it now. But it's like all the process of going to the car or walking to the shop and shopping and then paying and then going back to the car or going back walking home again. It's like that's all like it dissatisfactory process that you sort of want to get rid of and go by quickly so you can finally make the food and eat the food that you want. So even the process of then making the food, chopping the food, in the typical state of ego consciousness, when you're unaware, all of this is just like you're trying to get rid of it quickly, and it's not too nice. You're kind of like uneasy and agitated and chopping the carrots and peeling the potatoes, and you want to sit down eventually, and then you want to be eating the food. But even when you're doing that, you want the food to be in your stomach. Oh my god, it's so funny. So there's never a moment where you almost feel you can just relax and enjoy the moment. You're trying to get there all the time. You're always trying to get there to the future point. And it's the same when you're traveling on holiday. You want to get there, but the whole process of like going to the airport or traveling to the airport and going in the airplane, it's like you're always waiting. Oh, I'm waiting to get there. I have to get there. I'm looking forward to getting there. But the funny thing is, there arrives as now, and really the objective of spirituality is to be aware in every moment, to be aware of yourself, the silent and alive, vibrant stillness, which is aware of all of your perceptions of what's going on. Aware of your feelings and emotions, and aware of your thoughts, aware of what you're sensing, your eyes, the listening. So this is usually completely absent, or in most people, but it's when people awaken, they awaken to this within themselves, and it grows little by little. So they keep going back into sleepfulness where they're just unaware and they're just rushing through things and they don't know what they're doing, sort of. They're not really fully experiencing what's happening. And their mind is constantly creating ideas and perceptions about what's happening, which often isn't true at all. So regarding enjoying the journey and being in the now. Morning, Mom! One way is just to, let's say, pretend that there's no next moment. Pretend there's no future almost. We know there is a future, okay, and we know we have to do things in the future, and we know we're on the way to the shop. But let's pretend, just almost like a game, let's pretend there's no next moment. There's no future. It's just this step. Next step. Just this step. And you see the air, you see the sky. You hear the noise of the car. You can hear the birds. You can feel yourself breathing. You see a nice tree. You see a person. Red colour. You see colours. Chopping the carrots. Another breath. You see life happening around you. There's people and going places, and if we just slow down a little bit, it's handy. Literally slowing down what we're doing, whatever we're doing, just a little bit, if we can. I'm sure we can, just a little bit most of the time. Not always. We may have to go somewhere really quickly, but we can go to somewhere quickly, and while not frantically striving to get there, we can go quickly, but also still maintain awareness and be where we are and enjoy the journey and be peaceful about the journey, and just soak it all up, melt into the moment, and be alive to our senses and the stillness within ourselves. Mooji said, what if there is no next? It's a good thing to ask ourselves, and we don't answer with our minds. We just zone into the moment, and you can let go of the past as well. What if there is no past? What if there is no next person to meet, next place to arrive to, next event, next step along the journey? Just now. Interesting. Try it yourself. You don't answer with your mind, remember. Just see where you are. Okay, well, I think that covers desire, about having preferences. Wanting isn't always ego. Sometimes it is. Just as typical, like I want this or I want that. We have preferences, and that's normal and that's fine. Sometimes things are out of ego, and you have to just ask yourself that. Just go within and see why you're doing things. The desire Buddha and all the other spiritual teachers are talking about is that sense of lack and insufficiency, which we feel, the tension and the feeling that something's not good enough and we have to get there to the future point, always looking to find happiness, etc. That desire is that's the old mode of consciousness which people are awakening from. So just watch that within yourself and try and go into the moment more. Okay, well, thanks for listening. I hope I answered your question, or my question, and that things are cleared up a little bit. Have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.